Hello. Hello, this is the My Artifact episode number 3360. Today's date is 14th of March 2025. It's been almost like a night at 10 p.m. Alright. Okay, so what exactly happened today? Nothing really happened. It's a kind of like a typical day. Nothing really need to kind of like happen something special. We directly jump into the question. Alright. Yeah. Alright. Question is wait. Okay. How does music relate to the laws of universe? All right, that's a really good question. Okay, where is this question came from? Okay, so a couple of weeks ago, I was actually watching the web series. The name of web series is the Demons of Leonardo, based on Leonardo da Vinci. Okay, if you don't really know who is that person, the person who draw the one of the world famous painting called Mona Lisa. Okay, this painting is actually drawn by this guy, Leonardo. He is not just a painter, he is a master of multiple things. He is like a, yeah. While I was watching that particular show, I was bitterly influenced by his thought process. I wanted to think like him, so I went to the chat GPT, asked that ki suggest me such a question so that I would think like Leonardo. So this is one of those questions. Now question says, how does music relate to the laws of universe? All right. Okay. uh, what is exactly the music? Okay. A music means like that, a kind of like a some sort of pattern, interchangeable pattern. What's the interchangeable pattern? All right, yeah, like uh, ten 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 ten. Okay, yeah. So this is kind of like a some sort of pattern. Okay, if I'm gonna say 10 10 10 10 10 10 10, this is pattern. Okay, yeah. Now, if I just kind of like a dilute that pattern little bit, just interchange little bit of pitch and something like that, it would look like that. Tin 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 tin. Okay, yeah. So when you interchange the pattern in between, it kind of like a create something. Okay, and that is kind of like a feel little bit of music. Now, in this particular pattern you could add some sort of words. Okay, yeah, like lyrics and something like that to create some sort of song. That song became a music. All right, yeah. Sorry sorry. um all right, yeah. So this is kind of like a something really is a kind of like a something music. Okay, I'm not really properly trying to like basically the information that I have is a bit really fragile. I'm not really sure that is it exactly right or wrong, but it's kind of like a something the information that I have just might be kind of like a something 70 to 60% right. All right, yeah. So first of all, is this thing where is this music came from? We just have to understand the music first of all. All right, yeah. So basically is this thing ki thousands of year ago, we don't really have any kind of like assembly music. Okay, yeah. We developed some sort of speech. Okay, yeah. We started kind of like assembly communicating with each other. Okay, and we developed some sort of language. Now basically is this thing that ki at some time we just get really bored. Okay, yeah. So we kind of like create some sort of poems. Okay, yeah. um like there are so many poems. Okay, yeah. So we create some sort of poems and we could kind of like simply telling this poem with very different way. What's a different way? Okay, so the things that I'm talking like and you are hearing is kind of like a something just a communication. Okay, yeah. But when you interchange that communication with different tone, it looks something really different. Like twinkle twinkle little star, how I wonder what you are. Once upon the touch the sky, like the diamond in the sky. I'm not really sure the poem is right or not. Okay, but this kind of like a something poem. Okay, yeah. So what exactly is this thing? What is exactly poem? A poem means like that ki you are kind of like simply adding some sort of words, arranging some sort of words in a such a way that it kind of like a feel little good. Okay, yeah. Like basically is this thing in the previous example that I mentioned regarding about pattern. Like the way that we talk is a kind of like a something this pattern in the music. Like let me tell you one thing. If I'm kind of like simply talking to you, it kind of like a something how it kind of like a represent in the music. It represent like this: 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Right? It's a kind of like a simply simple. Okay, yeah. Every kind of like a simply words and everything is kind of like a look exactly like that. Okay, yeah. From kind of like a sort of hearing point of perspective, you just okay, yeah. If you need to understand from different point of perspective, it's not, it's it's something very difficult, not that difficult, but I don't know, you have to be little bit have some sort of like a if okay, are you kind of like a somebody person who listen the music a lot? Like I am that person. I listen the music a lot. Okay, I while I was doing workout, I do listen to music a lot. Okay, yeah. If you are kind of like a somebody person who don't really listen that music, don't really listen means what? Means like that ki yeah, you like music and you listen some sort of music, but the problem is that ki you don't really get that much opportunity to listen the music. What do you mean by opportunity? Means if you are traveling at somewhere, obviously you are listening music. Okay, if you are doing workout, you are listening music. You are at malls or somewhere, you kind of like a some sort of music that you, okay, yeah. What I'm trying to tell you is this thing: if you have a kind of like a such a life where you haven't really listened that much music a lot, from your like a from like a your point of perspective, from your means like that na ki, like basically you just came home, okay, yeah, came home, do your work and stuff like that, means I don't know, you didn't really listen that music like when it is necessary, like when you are traveling or when you are kind of like doing something, only and only then you are listening music. Okay, yeah. Then you might not understand this kind of like something, like I'm trying to tell you from like a, you need to be kind of like a somebody very big fan of music. Okay, yeah. And most of people are that kind of like a somebody person. Okay, I'm not kind of like a somebody is this thing telling you that you are not, but most of people are that. Okay, I'm kind of like a simplifying this kind of like a question as simple as possible as I can, but sometimes now it's kind of like something very difficult to explain things very how do I supposed to explain? It's something that na ki this kind of like a, I don't know. Okay, yeah. Okay, so where was I? I'm talking about the poem. Poem is a kind of like a something you are arranging some sort of words in a such a way that it creates melody. Right? Yeah. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Okay, yeah. So it's kind of like a create some sort of melody. That melody is kind of like a stuck inside of our head and we won't forget that stuff. Okay, yeah. This is kind of like a some lyrics came from. Okay. Now you have to add some sort of music. Means like that thousands or thousands of years ago, we don't really have music, we just have kind of like a some sort of words, arrange some sort of words and create a poem. And we are actually doing this thing for like a very long period of time, since we realized that ki we could create the music too by kind of like a something creating voices. Means like that ki basically there is a kind of like a something metal rod. So if I just, you are actually hearing, it's a kind of like a something, if I just tap 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 that thing, it kind of like a create some sort of music. Okay, yeah. So then we are kind of like a utilizing this technique in the poem. Okay, yeah. Like adding, creating some sort of instrument to resonate some sort of kind of like a something voice. Okay, yeah. Or kind of like a something vocals or sound. All right, yeah. So now we are kind of like a utilizing poem plus this kind of like a something really something really sound together to make some sort of music. All right, yeah. So till now you understand the music. All right, yeah. Now let me clarify this thing. Okay, yeah. We are actually hearing this sound, or whatever we are actually hearing, or things that you are actually hearing in a headphone or whatever it is because of some sort of medium. What do you mean by that? It means by that ki the sound, if the sound really required to travel from one place to another place, means like that ki if I'm kind of like a saying this thing and you are listening from headphone or whatever it is, okay, yeah, it really requires some sort of medium. In earth we have a medium called air medium, okay, solid or kind of like a gas, okay, or like, yeah, these are kind of like some medium. Means like that ki if you went to the space, okay, yeah, and if I'm talking to you, you won't able to hear me, okay, or you won't be able to hear any kind of like some music. Example is this thing that ki you went to the space, okay, you are kind of like a wearing this kind of like a some space suit, okay, yeah, and now you are spacewalking. Now what you do is that ki in front of you there is a kind of like a something DJ, okay, yeah, DJ means a speaker, and you are actually connecting that speaker with a Bluetooth, and you are kind of like a playing this sound playing a kind of like a song with very high volume, but you won't be able to hear anything at all. Yeah, speaker is playing, like basically you could kind of like see that the bass of that particular speaker is kind of like a going up and down. So yeah, speaker is kind of like a doing his work, okay, but you won't be able to hear any kind of like some sound. Why? Is it because of that ki music requires some sort of medium to travel. All right, yeah. So this question is kind of like a simply fail, right? Yeah, means like that ki music is also resonate at the earth or any kind of like a simply planet, but it's not exist in the space. So what exactly does this mean? So like basically like like music is kind of like a something just non-existence, right? But that is not, okay, yeah, okay, yeah, you just have to think it very differently, okay, yeah, to understand the music and stuff like that. It's a it's a it's a something that na ki let me tell you one thing, little bit of scientific point of perspective. All right, yeah. So have you seen speaker? Okay, yeah, you've seen speaker, okay, yeah. When you play some sort of sound, that speaker went up and down, okay, yeah, and it kind of like a simply vibrate. All right, yeah, you actually seen that particular stuff, okay, yeah. This is kind of like a simply a vibration, okay. These are kind of like a simply vibration happen to the everything. What do you mean by everything? Everything means like that na ki the every bit, the everything that you are actually hearing inside in your ear, there is a kind of like a something a speaker, a kind of, just try to imagine a kind of like a something speaker, a kind of like a such a filament or such a kind of like a thing is a so thin that it could vibrate, and because of it vibrate you are kind of like a hearing this thing, okay. Do you get it? Like basically our ears and speaker are kind of like a doing the same thing, okay, yeah. In the speaker they are kind of like a something really do something really bigger, means like that it resonates so much amount of sound, and but our ears could do that thing too, like like I don't know how to supposed to explain. Right now I'm kind of like a thinking it's something very differently, or maybe at this moment na, I'm not kind of like a I'm kind of like a very difficult to explain this kind of like a concept because it's it's something that it's little bit difficult, but I don't know. I am right now. I'm kind of like a something not in my kind of like a something full potential to explain this thing right now. I'm literally kind of like a something hazelab. Okay, yeah. I don't know what exactly happened with me, but okay, yeah. So these are kind of like a something vibration. Okay, yeah. These are vibration are kind of like a something important for you have to hear this thing. Okay, means like that every words that you are hearing, every music or every kind of like a stuff that is actually hearing is because of the vibration is actually happened in your ears, okay, yeah. So these are vibrations are really essential to understand the music. All right, yeah. Now let me tell you one thing, these are vibration is happened all around the universe, okay, yeah. We don't really seen that stuff. What is exactly is this thing? Okay, okay. It's a very kind of like um when you hear any kind of like a something music, okay, yeah, you resonate some sort of emotion, okay, sad, okay. If the music is sad, you feel sad. If the music is excited, you also feel really excited. If the music is happy, you also feel really happy. All right, yeah. um Music is the only medium that we actually connect with our soul. What is exactly is this thing? Okay, yeah. Is this thing means like that na ki I don't know. Do you actually kind of like a experience kind of like a something goosebump when you hear some sort of music, or when you heard, okay, yeah. Have you watched a movie named Harry Potter, Deathly Hollows? Okay, yeah. Deathly Hallows? No, 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 not Deathly Hallows. Harry Potter, the sixth part. What's the name of the sixth part? Half Blood Prince. So yeah, Half Blood Prince. Have you watched the Harry Potter Half Blood Prince? Okay, you definitely watched that particular movie. In that movie, the headmaster die. Okay, yeah. Dumbledore die on that particular movie. Okay, if you didn't really watch that movie, and if I gave this spoiler to you, then don't blame me, because this movie was released almost like a 10 year ago, 10-20 year ago. Okay, yeah, 10. I don't know. Yeah, it actually released like a, okay, yeah. So basically, is this thing when the Dumbledore die, you actually feel little bit of goosebump. Okay, yeah. Why? Because the background music is happened such an amazing way that you just feel little bit of goosebump. You feel little bit of sad. You feel that ki this is something really bad thing happened. Why you actually feel that thing? Okay, yeah. If like a basic, let me tell you one thing. If I remove the background voices and sorry, if I remove the background score, you won't be able to think anything at all. Yeah, like let me tell you one thing. I just kind of like remove all those background noises, background vocals and background music. Just a kind of like a some vocals means actor they are talking, and visuals. You won't be able to kind of like a something feel the same thing. You know that ki the headmaster die, but you don't really feel that particular thing. Our feeling is mostly resonate with the music, mostly. Okay, yeah. um have you watched the movie named Avenger Endgame? In that movie, when the Captain America kind of like a something say Avenger assemble, okay, yeah. And basically when this thing happened, that's a really epic moment of that particular entire Marvel Cinematic Universe, okay, yeah. So this kind of like a assembly moment is so amazing, so epic. And this is kind of like a something epic thing is actually happened because of the music and because of all those things. Okay, yeah, because of the background music is actually happened in that particular scene. Okay, so music are really essential to we feel something right, wrong, or sad, or excited, whatever it is. Okay, yeah. Now I'm gonna give you another example. Okay, yeah. Basically is this thing that ki when we live a normal life, when we talk with each other or whatever it is, there is no background music is actually happen, nothing really at all. Everything is feel something really just a normal. But when you add the background music, it felt something really good. Okay. I am kind of like a something very scared person to watch horror movies. Literally, like I won't be able to watch like literally I scared. Like I am kind of like a avoid as much as possible so that I won't able to watch horror movie because it really scared me a lot. But now I realize that ki I scared that horror movie is because of the music, literally because of the music. If I just kind of like a somebody just remove the music, okay, yeah, then probably I won't be able to scared at all, nothing really at all. Yeah, literally, yeah, just like that na ki horror movie is actually based on the sound effects and the horror music stuff. If I just remove that particular thing, na, you won't be able to kind of like a somethingly fear that particular thing. Means like that, na, ki if there is a ghost is actually exist in the real world, okay, yeah, and if that particular ghost is in front of me, I won't be able to kind of like a scare that particular thing. Why? Because usually when we feel thing, we need a kind of like a music. Yeah, really, we really required some sort of music. Okay, yeah. Now this is kind of like a something, a music is connect with our soul. Okay, am I kind of like a say this thing right or not? Like, am I kind of like a right? Because most of people are kind of like a somebody connect with the soul with the music. All right, yeah. Now, as I mentioned earlier, music is kind of like a somebody vibrating. Okay, yeah. Let me tell you one thing. In the entire universe, everything that you actually seen, your fingerprint, your eyeball, your clothes, the people around you, the plants, the everything that you are actually seeing, the entire planet is also vibrating. Yeah, literally vibrating, but these are in a such a way that we won't be able to feel that thing. Okay, yeah. What is exactly is this thing? Okay, it's a something that na ki I don't know how do I supposed to explain this thing. Okay, yeah. Everything on the universe is actually moving. Okay, like we are moving. If we are kind of like a staying at one place, still we are actually moving. The earth is actually moving around the sun. The entire solar system is actually moving around the Sagittarius A is our black hole in our galaxy. Okay, the Milky Way galaxy. So, and the galaxy is also kind of like a moving away from kind of like a something our cluster. The whole universe is kind of like something expanding and things like that. Okay, yeah. So what I'm trying to tell you is this thing that the entire thing is actually moving. Entire thing is kind of like a vibrating. There is nothing really on this universe is stationary. Nothing. Okay, even time is moving, the space is moving, the entire universe is moving. Okay, yeah. um you are not feeling the vibration because these are vibration are so small that you won't be able to see that thing. Means like that ki you have a speaker, okay, yeah, and you turn up the volume, the bass of that speaker went up and down. Okay, this is what actually happened because you turn up the volume. When you turn down the volume, that vibration feel very very less. This is what exactly is this thing. The everyday, the word that we are actually talking, the music and the everything is vibrating in a such a scale that our naked eyes we won't be able to see that thing. Let's take an example, atom. Okay, yeah. So वगैरह वगैरह, so it creates some sort of vibrations. Okay, yeah. Okay, like a music is a kind of like a something something. What should you supposed to do is that take a kind of like a something a paper, okay, burn it down. Okay, yeah. When it burn, it kind of like a something vibrating so much so that it could emit the energy away. That's why you are feel little bit of heat when there is a kind of like a something is burning. Means like that in day to day life a vibration is so small that we won't be able to feel that thing. But when you burn something, you kind of like a something making that vibration so bigger that you could feel little bit of energy. Okay, yeah, literally is this thing that na when fire is only a kind of like a something such a way that you would kind of like a something increase the vibration. Okay, yeah. And during this process, when the vibration is actually increased, it kind of like a emits some sort of energy. Okay, yeah. So that's why just like that now, when you burn something, it kind of like a something you feel little bit of heat. Okay, yeah. Same thing happened in the stars too. Okay, yeah. In the star, there the nuclear fusion is actually happened, and like take a sun. Okay, sun is kind of like a somebody emitting so much amount of fire, so much amount of energy. Can you believe how much kind of like a something vibration is actually happened? Let me tell you one thing. Okay, yeah. If sun is like, if I kind of like somebody say this thing that ki radio. Okay, yeah, let me tell you one thing. Have you seen radio where audio is kind of like a something something like that ki travel? Okay, means like that walkie talkie, just example of walkie talkie. If I'm kind of like a saying some sort of thing, other people are kind of like a hearing some sort of thing. Okay, yeah. If I put one walkie talkie at sun, okay, at sun means like that ki some sort of like a little bit away, okay, so that that walkie talkie will survive. And one walkie talkie at earth, it is so much amount of sound will emit, because it, like, let me tell you one thing now, our sun is kind of like a emitting so much amount of sound that we could kind of like a won't be able to hear anything at all. What do you mean by that? Like if I just put the any kind of like a only medium, means like that na ki in the space we just remove the vacuum and put the kind of like a some air in it, then the volume that you are actually hearing from the sun is so loud that that we will gonna kind of like a something just not able to hear that particular. It is so much, literally just like the intensity of sound. It's a kind of like a so much when you are kind of like a somebody went close to the sun, or kind of like a hearing the nuclear blast, because in the sun there is always a nuclear blast is actually happen. Millions of nuclear blast is actually happen per second at the sun. Okay, yeah. So have you ever imagined that how much amount of energy or how much amount of sound it emit? So much. Okay, yeah. So what I'm trying to tell you is this thing na ki music is a kind of like a something such a way that um we as a human, okay, yeah, and as also we connect with our universe. I don't know how do I supposed to say this thing. I am still not really sure am I right or wrong, but I just feel that thing when I hear some sort of music, that particular vibration, it felt me something really that I connect with the universe. Okay, yeah. And as also the entire universe is also made up of that. It also kind of like a resonate some sort of music that at this moment we are not really understand this thing. It's a kind of like a something such a subject that it's something really very difficult. I don't know how do I supposed to explain. It's a, I don't really have any kind of like some hypothesis or any kind of something like example to elaborate this particular stuff, but yeah, this is kind of like something exists. I think, I don't know, my guts kind of like somebody telling me such a thing that these are kind of like a stuff are exist. These are kind of like somebody the way that we resonate the music and way that we connect with the emotions and everything is kind of like a something way that we could kind of like a connect with our universe. Probably, I think. I'm not really sure, by the way. And let me tell you one thing, this is my hypothesis. I don't know about anything regarding about the music and vibration. Like I know little bit about of information, like whatever the information that I told you right now, I just kind of like somebody got this information from the mostly from YouTube, because I usually consume YouTube a lot and I get so much information from that. And I don't know. Okay, yeah, but this is my kind of like a stuff that I think that ki how does this is the way that music kind of like a relate to the laws of universe. Probably. Okay, yeah. By the way, there are a couple of pointers are here, so that it could kind of like a somebody connect the music with the universe. Okay, what are those pointer? Point number one: music and mathematics, the language of pattern. The music follows the mathematical ratios and pattern, just like laws of physics. The Fibonacci sequence and golden ratio, appearance, music composition, they do. Okay, like basically the pattern that I already mentioned. Tin, 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 normal pattern. Tin, 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 tin. Interchangeable pattern. It kind of like a create the music. All right, yeah. Second point, vibration and waves. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, sound waves are vibration travel through the air, just like light, gravity, and electromagnetic waves travel through space. Oh, yeah, this is also really right. Okay, let me tell you one thing now. The sound is also kind of like a something a wave. Okay, yeah. But let me tell you one thing, light, gravity, and electromagnetic is also kind of like a something travel through waves. Yeah, they are also travel through waves too. Okay, yeah. Example, the laws of resonance. The example why some notes and harmonics together, just like electron resonate with the specific amount of energy level. Yeah, as I mentioned earlier. uh, okay. In universal palette, as just a planet orbit due to the gravitational waves, music follows through the harmonic waves. The Doppler effect applies to the both the sound, light, and changing the pitch and color based on environment. Oh yeah, that is really good. Okay, what exactly is this thing? Okay, let me tell you one thing about the Doppler effect. What's a Doppler effect? Okay. Okay. So you are actually hearing this is called Doppler effect. Means like that key, like basically the music when it went from left to right or any kind of like a something direction, you are kind of like a something resonate that thing like because of like you don't really have any kind of like some evidence of visualization that when it went away or coming, like basically this isn't take a ambulance. Okay, yeah, when the ambulance is actually far away, it kind of like emit little less sound. When it up close, you are kind of like a so much amount of sound. When it went away, you are kind of like a feeling little less sound. Okay, yeah, this is actually called as a Doppler effect. Okay, yeah. So means like that na ki waves are also kind of like a something act as a some sort of Doppler effect. Means like that ki when the waves is kind of like emitting at some sort of point of origin, and it kind of like a up close when you are kind of like, I don't know how do I supposed to explain this thing. Okay, yeah, but these are kind of like a Doppler effect which is also resonant with the gravity, electromagnetic waves, and sound too. Okay, yeah. Third point, the music of spheres or cosmic harmony. The ancient concept of music is of the spheres, such as the planet and star moves to the harmonic ratio, like a musical notes. Kepler laws of planetary motion describe the planetary orbit term as a musical harmony. I'm not really sure about this point. Fourth point, rhythm in nature, the pulse of life. Everything is in nature follows the rhythm. Our heartbeat, the season, the tides, and even the brain waves. Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, everything is vibrating. Fourth point, okay, not fourth point. These are the end. These are kind of like some fourth point are kind of like some resonate to connect the laws of the universe. Still, it's kind of like a something very uncooked information, but I don't know. All right, but most of the pointers are kind of like something right, like other things that I mentioned, like gravity and vibrations and waves, somewhat equal to. All right, this is end. I should supposed to be in here, and thank you.